You are not just another hustling salesperson. You are the expert, the resource, the valuable partner for your clients. And how you grow your business should reflect how your clients see you. Welcome to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. We generate referrals without asking, build positive client experiences, and help you take control of your business. Here's your charmingly sarcastic host, Stacey Brown Randall.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 137 of the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Brown Randall. Okay, here's the thing. Day 2 just started of our 5 days to jumpstart your referrals challenge, and it is not too late for you to join us. I repeat, it is never too late for you to join us. You can join now, and don't worry, we'll get you all caught up with everything you've missed. But you've only missed one day, which means you haven't missed much at all. So sign up, staceybrownrandall.com/challenge. That's right, staceybrownrandall.com/challenge. And you know it. I can hear you saying it right now. Stacey has an E. Get yourself signed up and we'll send you what you've missed. These challenges are great if you really want to make some forward movement or get some forward momentum going to really take control of your referrals this year. All right. Let's dive into today's episode. We are kind of on a roll talking about the most important humans of a referral strategy or referral process or referral plan, whatever you call it. Who are these most important humans? Who are our VIPs, our MITs? That's most important things. I guess I should say MIPs. Most important people. Who are these humans? You know it. We've been talking about them now for the last couple episodes. Referral sources. That's right. So if you followed along from episode 135 and 136, then you should have a good understanding of your referral sources. And yes, for some of you, you should have a good understanding of your lack of referral sources. And that's okay. That's usually where most people start. In episode 135, we pulled together our referral sources from the last few years and we ranked them based on our opinion of our relationship with them. And then in episode 136, which was last week, we used those results and a little bit more data to calculate the referral explosion that we wanted for 2021. And we recognized and made a commitment to that, hey, if we want that referral explosion, not just what we've always received, but we want more, we're going to have to do things a little bit differently. We're going to have to be willing to do some different work to get to that referral explosion. Okay, so now I want to go one more step deeper. When we think about who might refer us this year, it really comes down to who's active and who's not. Now, I see this play out all the time when I am working with my growth by referral students who come in at the VIP level. And the VIP level is you get the online program like in the independent study level, but then the VIP student and I work together for a year. So we work one-on-one together as well. So when you go VIP, like I get to know your business because we're spending time together. Actually, our initial first session together is 4 hours. I know that sounds like a really long time to spend with me, but I promise I make it fun. So I really get to understand the data, the referral sources and the data behind my VIP students. But even when my students come in at the independent study level, one of the things they do in module 2 is once they've completed the same kind of work I'm asking you to do, they upload it. And then I go in and I look at it and I look at the goals that they've set and how they've done their data. And I'm looking at who's active and who's not active. And I'm helping make sure they're on the right path. So even if we're not doing it one-to-one like I am with the VIP, it's still happening even in the independent study level because that's how important this process is. And that is how important this step is really getting clear on who our referral sources are and really getting clear and sometimes with the nuances that we have with each of those people because they're all individual humans. Now, what we build for them, we build collectively, but when we're understanding them and first starting to get really clear on who our referral sources are and how many of them do we have and what is the strength of our relationship and how active they are or not active they are, what this all comes down to is really understanding those people, our referral sources that end up, in this case, in an Excel spreadsheet. And so I see this a lot when I'm working, particularly with my VIP students, because then I have numbers, right? I have very clear numbers of what this looks like. So I recently was working with a VIP student who came on board, and it's always fun for me to kind of do this step with them. But I had a VIP student who came on board, and I'm not going to give you any other details because I want to, it's all good stuff, but just out of fairness, I'm going to respect that. It's not like last week when I got to talk about Jackie, the architect from San Francisco, and how her amazing success is. That's because she and I had talked about that and I had permission. So in this case, I had a VIP student who did some pre-work. And in the pre-work, they did some of the stuff I'm asking you to do. I just have a very streamlined process for how they do it. And it's a holistic kind of look at their referral sources from some areas. And so he did that work, beautiful job, turned it into me. And I'm looking at where he has said that his referrals, like how many referral sources he said he had. And he estimated, well, not estimated because it's actually a number that he pulled from his data. He said that he had 91 total referral sources. Now, that is a good, crazy number actually to start with and work with. But I am always skeptical of those numbers when I see them once somebody's completed the work. And when he broke them down, he had 79 referral sources that were centers of influence, which means people who are not clients, but know what he does and is able to refer people to him. And then he had 12 referral sources that are clients. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, we've got 79 centers of influence and 12 clients that are the categories of his referral sources. Now, there can be other categories, I'll be honest with you, of referral sources. If you've ever heard me teach above the line, below the line, you know that there are referral sources. There are two types above the line, our clients and our centers of influence. And that's who we build our referral plan for. That's who we cultivate relationships with and we plant referral seeds with to get more referrals. And the two below the line are friends and family. And friends and family is one grouping and then strangers as another. And that's not where we spend our time and energy and having those people be a part of a referral plan. Because the truth is, family and friends that are referring you today will probably always refer you, right? And you probably don't have to do anything different to cultivate. Or it's like that one hit wonder. Your mom, so many years ago, that one time referred you their neighbor to sell their house and then it never happened again, right? You guys know what that looks like. So it's what we call above the line, below the line. And so when I look at and I ask my students, okay, let's break down your referral sources. Let's put them in categories. I'm really looking for the ones that are clients and centers of influence. So when he was filling in his data, he had 91 referral sources, 79 were centers of influence as referral sources, and 12 were clients that were referral sources. But here's where this stuff gets really fun for me. Not always for the other person, if I'm being honest, but this is where it gets really fun for me because I want to dig down and make sure we have crystal clear clarity on these 91 humans. So as we dug down and we went through them, where we actually ended up is that he has 32 referral sources. 32 out of the 91 that actually have the potential to refer him again. How do we get there? What are the things you need to know and to pay attention to understand is if you think you have a huge number of referral sources and not, is that the real number? Now, when I work with a VIP student or I'm looking over someone's information as an independent study level student, when they're uploading their work to me, I'm paying attention to what that looks like. Like, who are the people that are your referral sources and that actually have the ability to refer you again? Now, that doesn't even include the people we want to refer us. That's a whole other list, right? That we eventually cultivate into referral sources and look at. But in our first step, it's really just figuring out, okay, who can actually refer you? Because if he said, I got 91 referral sources, so I want 100 referrals this year, right? So if that's his goal for 2021, based on his data, if he said, I got 91 referral sources, so I want 100 referrals. If 91 people actually had the propensity to refer him and were actually active on his list, then he should probably expect 100 referrals. That is not where we landed. And that is not the goal he set for himself. Because as we dug into what he's typically received, right, year over year over year, getting his average number of referrals received, that number wasn't anywhere near 91. It was handfuls. Right? Handfuls, half a dozen, right? It wasn't anywhere near what he thought his data showed in terms of who his referral sources were. So we dug in and we got to 32 people that actually have the potential to refer him again. And that doesn't mean they all will. And this is where we have to start getting really realistic about how many referrals can we receive, even if we are going to follow my process and my plan through GBR. Like, what is realistic that we can actually receive? And it better be more than what you typically get. But we're not going from 5 to 100. Like, nobody can do that. That's not possible. When we're looking at this for these people referring real referrals to us, right? Not word of mouth, not introductions, not warm leads, and not cold leads. When we're looking at real referrals being connected to us. So here are some things to note that I always talk to my students about. The first thing is understanding your clients versus your centers of influence. And the things to note here are when you're thinking about your clients and your centers of influence, they are different. Clients intimately know what it's like to work with you, which means when they speak about working with you to someone else and they give somebody else their endorsement of you, it comes with a certain weight that it's just hard to get from anyone else because they know, oh, you use Tom as your CPA? Oh, okay, great. Sarah is your financial advisor. Okay, well then if you're using them and things are good and you're able and you're willing to put your reputation on the line to recommend them and your money on the line because you've hired them, right? Then that type of referral usually always comes weighted more. Because it's somebody who's saying, hey, you intimately know what it's like to work with this person and you're recommending them to me. And now you're connecting us. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to be much, much more interested in saying yes to become a client of yours because I know people that I trust that trust you. So that's not to say you can't get stellar, amazing referrals from your centers of influence. But anytime I've ever worked with someone where they can get referrals from their clients, those are typically easier to close than the ones that come from their centers of influence. But a lot of people need both. They need clients referring them and centers of influence referring them because of how many referrals they want to receive in a year. And not every client will refer. Right? That's kind of the nature. I actually tell folks when you're starting out, aim for 20 to 30% of your clients to refer you and grow from there. Stop thinking everyone's going to refer you. I mean, I've said this before and I will say it again because I teach people the product or the program that people join and pay me for teaches them how to get more referrals. And not all my students end up referring me. And that's okay. I have no expectation that they will. But I do know, right? I know the points at which they're more likely to. And then I recognize the ones that are ongoing going to be able to. And sometimes it's just what industry they're in, who they come across, how they think, how they're wired, right? Everybody can refer, doesn't mean everybody will refer. And that's okay. So it's paying attention. Is the majority of your referral sources clients, or are they centers of influence, or are they a mix, right? A lot of people have a mix. I have a mix. You probably have a mix, I'm going to guess. Now, there are some of you out there who are like, look, my clients don't refer me because of the type of work that I do. So it's more important that I get referrals from centers of influence. Yes, that is absolutely a category of folks, right? And we have folks just like that inside the Growth by Referrals program. But it is important for you to recognize if you had like this person had, who was my VIP student, 32 referral sources, and 20 of them were clients, I'm feeling really good about some referrals. But if those 20 clients don't necessarily come across people like themselves to refer to you, well, right, it may not be the exact same type of numbers we're expecting. So when you're paying attention to your clients versus your centers of influence, it is important to note, okay, how many do I have in each category? And which is easier for me to get referrals from? For some of you, it's from clients. From others of you, it's from centers of influence. And for a lot of you, you're a mix. And it's right there in the middle with both. You don't necessarily have to do anything different. I just need you to be aware of the fact of who are these referral sources that are on your list and what category do they fall into? Clients or centers of influence? Because that could dictate how easy or not it would be for you to actually close the people that they refer to you. And then, of course, knowing your mix, clients versus centers of influence as referral sources, is just important also when you're building out your referral plan, which is how you're going to take care of these people. Okay, and then the other thing I want you to note is really what we like to call active versus inactive. And I've kind of hinted at it as we've been doing these last couple of episodes. I'm kind of weaving these pieces in because I know that these things are going to strike some of you and most of you at different points. So you may hear episode 135 and then episode 136 and now this episode 137. And as you're hearing me talk right now, it's triggering something I said in episode 135 that's going to start making the domino effect happen where all the dots are going to connect for you. That's why I didn't just dump all this into one episode. I mean, that, and let's be honest, it'd be a very long episode because we know I can talk. So let's be honest. Okay. So the other thing we want to consider is active versus inactive referral sources, meaning how long ago did they refer you? You did a little bit of this when you were looking at the strength of the relationship you had with them, when you were ranking them on a scale of 1 through 5. In episode 135, when you downloaded that worksheet and you were doing that activity, which means if you haven't done that, folks, these things build on each other. So please go back and do that. Okay. That's really important that you actually go back and do that. There is not a worksheet or a cheat sheet for this episode because you have those two you need from the last two episodes, episode 135 and 136. I will link to those downloads in this episode if you just want to grab the worksheet from episode 135 and the PDF math download that we have for like calculating your referral explosion from episode 136. I will make sure both of those are in the show notes for this episode, which is stacybrownrandall.com/137. But make sure you go back and listen to those two episodes as well. So the PDF of math calculations and the worksheet, those two things make sense for you. So active versus inactive. How long ago did they refer you? Another thing to consider is, will they still come across your ideal client? Has anything shifted or changed in their world? Did they get a new job, right? Did they have to close their business down because of COVID? Are they restarting from scratch? Did they move from one job to another job and now maybe they don't come across your ideal clients? There's nothing about your referral sources that says that they're static, that once they're a referral source, always a referral source. I'm so sorry. It does not work that way. It does not work that way. Referral sources ebb and flow. And so you've got to understand that your referral source list is fluid. And so people come and go. So do they still come across your ideal client? Right? Another thing to consider is, well, what was the process like when they referred the last person to you or they worked with you themselves? And how does that set them up, right, to be able or willing to refer you? There's so many times when I'm having conversations, and I typically only have these conversations with my VIP students, where we'll get to somebody on the list and they'll pause and they'll like breathe deeply, like I can hear it, right? They're like, wow, that sounds painful. And they're like, yeah, they referred me someone and it just did not go well. And I just don't think because of that, they'll refer me again. That's real, right? We have to pay attention to that. We have to know that that is our reality. And so if that is our reality, we need to understand that maybe even if we would love for this person to refer us, they're just not going to. Now, a lot of people don't let what happened or what went down with a past process of them referring someone to you keep them from referring you in the future. Let's be honest, it all comes down to whose fault they think it was. If they think it was your fault, okay, that's going to impact if they refer you or not. But if they know the person they referred to you can be a little difficult, well, maybe they can take that with a grain of salt and understand, hey, it may have just been that person, not necessarily how you work with people, right? It's why I always think it's so important that we manage the message and we maintain the relationship with our referral source so we can get ahead of things like that and that we can help protect our relationship with our referral sources. But you need to understand, like, what was the last time they referred you? What was the process like? Because that does dictate and sometimes indicate if they'll refer you again. These aren't things you need to sit down and make notes on every single point. It's the things we just consider as we're looking at those humans on this list, as we're looking at our referral sources on this list. And those are the things I want you to know. But I do want you to know, if you think you've got a whole bunch of referral sources, I want you to put them through the paces of these 3 episodes and then figure out, wait, do I actually have that many referral sources? And if you want me to tell you if you have those referral sources, well, then just join the Growth by Referrals program. And if you want to work one-on-one with me and have me exactly tell you that, well, just come on in at the VIP level. Okay. We have been on a journey over these last couple episodes, really focusing on getting serious about understanding in a way we've probably never paid attention before to who our referral sources are and what they mean to us and what our relationship looks like and what we can potentially expect and what is the gap we need to close in terms of how many referral sources we have and how many we ultimately need, which then allows us to increase the number of referrals we want to receive this year in 2021. We've spent a lot of time on this because, guys, this is where it starts. If you want more referrals, if you want any referrals, you have to have people who will refer you. And so that is why we've dedicated 3 episodes to it. And now coming up in our next episode, we're going to go into episode 138 and we're going to look at breaking down the first layer I tell people to build when they are creating a referral strategy in their business. The very first layer I say you've got to have is the layer that deals with our existing referral sources. See how I did that? So we spent 3 episodes talking about these humans. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like to put it within one of the layers, the first layer of your overall referral strategy. And we're going to do that next week, coming up in episode 138. But before I let you go, I would really love it if you haven't taken time in the past to leave a rating and review of this podcast, a roadmap to grow your business. I would really love it if you take a moment and leave, hopefully, a 5-star rating and a positive, glowing written review. The more reviews and ratings that I have, the more this show is actually able to reach other and more business owners and sales professionals just like you. And it's my goal to continue to give this information to as many people as who want to receive it. But to do that, we've got to get lots more ratings and reviews on the podcast. So if you haven't left a rating or review, would you do that for me? We have so many that I'm so thankful for, and I love each and every one of them. Yeah, even you negative ones. I mean, there are not many of them, but there's always somebody, right? I mean, not everybody can love you. But I love those 5-star rating and reviews because 1, they tell me I'm doing something right. And 2, they help us find more people just like you. More people that we can help by letting them know that there are ways they can grow their business with greater ease. And one of them is generating referrals without asking. Okay, so next week coming up is episode 138. Like I said, we're going to break down layer number 1 of your referral strategy. Until then, take control and grow your business. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. To access all resources and links mentioned in today's show and to connect with Stacy, head over to www.stacybrownrandall.com.